So our next step in this Revit world is you guys aren't all responsible for the 30-foot by 30-foot cube. You're only responsible for the piece that you divided off in your groups. So dimensionally, you already know what your size of the cube is, right? So your lower level might only be whatever, like 12 by 30 or 12 by 18, whatever you guys have decided in your breakout rooms. Divide up the space. Um, and basically, you're going to be modeling your own cube. And so the reason why I kind of had you guys start here was you guys just had no clue how to use Revit at all. But now you guys have a slight clue on how to use Revit. There are two more small things and that I have to demo. And I'm going to demo it from this stage. So I'm going to start out on the lower level. And I'm going to change up one thing that I did before. And this will make sense when I do it. I'm going to go ahead and hit wall. I'm going to find my MicroLiving wall, and I'm not expecting you guys to follow along. I'm just going to demo this so that you guys have the video. I'm going to grab my exterior wall, and I'm going to just make my cube part. And so the first thing that I want to talk about real quick is in the original cube here, because I knew my wall was going from the very base level all the way to the top, I knew it was going to be connected to the roof. Now, because of the fact that your cubes are a little bit different, where you're only going to have like a smaller section at the lower level, maybe you have a bigger section at the middle level, or vice versa, you don't have anything on the lower level, we're actually not going to extend our wall all the way up. Yes. Does what? Um, you get on the excuse me guys, give me 1 second here. Can you get on any website at all? Like Google, CNN, it doesn't matter, any website in the world, yellow.com? No? Okay, unplug that phone cable that I told you to plug in. Grab it. Is there another phone cable sitting there? It's a network cable, but it looks like a phone cable. If there's another one sitting there, grab the other one and try plugging it in. All right, so I'm going to keep going here, but I'll get to you. I'll come back and help you. So the major thing that I'm going to do different is virtual machine shut down at 8, I want to say. I think it's 7:30 maybe. They're a little bit later than that. 7:30 p.m. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the big thing that I'm going to do different is I'm not going to connect this to the upper level roof. I'm only going to connect it one floor at a time. Okay, so I'm on the lower level. The next highest level is going to be the entry level. And I'm going to show you the key differences. I'm just going to drag this out. What is going on? Okay, give it a second. It might register. So height 9'6". Oh, I probably got crop region turned on. Bear with me for a second, guys. Let me oh yeah, that's what was going on. Okay, so let me adjust this crop region real quick. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start drawing my wall. And again, I'm going to connect it to the next higher. So if you have, based on your group breakout, if you're on the lower level and the entry level, then you're going to start on the lower level. And you're going to connect it to the entry level. And so let me just draw this, and I'm going to say it's 30 feet. And let's just say my group told me I could have 18 feet of this thing, and it's going to drag down. It's going to come over. Okay. So if I look at this in 3D now, you'll see that I basically just have that portion of the lower level. You can see it's down low. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my project browser. And let's say I have some room on my entry level. So what's nice is I can see my lower level. So if I'm ready to start drawing the second portion of my cube, let me just connect to the upper level, right? Make sure it's going up one floor. So I'm going from entry to upper. And this is a little confusing, but it'll make sense here in a second. I'm going to drag this out 30 feet. And let's say this time it comes out, well, we have that hallway, right? So we know it's going to come out like 12 feet. And then maybe it comes down, I don't know, maybe I only have this much of it. It doesn't really make that big of a difference, right? So let me just drag this wall up and put it there. Okay, so let me look at this thing back in 3D. And so let's say that's the portion of my cube that I'm working with. That's basically my entire cube. That's basically my entire piece. There's really not much else I would need to model onto this, except for floors. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cover this whole section with a floor. I come up to my upper level. I come up to my lower level, and I'm going to grab a floor on this. And because this is a lower level, it's going to be the lower level floor. So I'm just going to grab a new floor. Use the MicroLiving lower level. I'm going to do my pick walls. And quite simply, I'm just going to, again, always select the vertical first and go clockwise. Look at it in 3D. There we go. I've got a floor in there now. And then I got to go to my entry level. Okay, perfect. Now, this is the only thing that I think you guys are going to mess up on. And if you mess up on it, I won't dock you too many points or dock you any points. Here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. Create the floor not just around the area for your floor plan. Create it to cover your lower level. Let me just demo that as to why I'm asking you to do that. So if you guys just do this, I'm doing this wrong, so don't do this. And I hit OK, and I look at this. If I look at this in 3D, basically have a floor, but it's only in that area, and I don't have a ceiling. Essentially, we're using the floor as a ceiling as well. I didn't want to get too complex and create a ceiling and a floor, so we're sort of cheating the system a little bit. So you don't want to do this because I don't want it to be open like this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo back. Let me go back to my entry level. Well, I just closed it instead of hitting it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to make sure I delete that floor. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my entry level, and I'm going to recreate this floor. Instead of me just selecting around where my walls are, I'm actually going to cover up my entire lower level. So I'm going to use that as my boundary for the floor system. And go ahead and hit attach. And you'll see here that not only did I create a floor, but it also capped off the other section of the building, if that makes sense. And then lastly, again, I know it makes a little to no sense. I'm going to go up to my upper level now and really want to see my floor plan below. Does anybody remember what I have to change to be able to see something below? There was a setting that I changed somewhere. Does anybody remember? Okay, if we don't. What's that? Hidden? A little bit different, but you're almost there. Over in this section, if you're in no commands, if you're just in MD, there's a little section over here that says underlay. Right now it says that there's no underlay. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the entry level as my underlay and hit apply. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to see the floor below. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to create another floor. And I know this sounds great. Oh, I forgot to change it to, oh, that's a good lesson. You know what? I'm going to intentionally mess this up again. So I'm going to put my roof on top of this. I'm going to put my floor on top of this, which we are really considering a ceiling, okay? I'm going to attach it again. I'm going to look at it in 3D, and I'm going to go, oh, that looks great, with one exception. I messed it up 2 times. I put the wrong floor on. You guys remember we created a lower level floor? which is what we wanted. It had a thickness of 6 inches. For the entry and the upper level floor, we created a secondary floor called entry and lower level floor. Difference was with that one was 12 inches thick. And so I actually put the wrong floor system here by mistake. I actually did this one by mistake, and I did this one on purpose. I want to show you guys a real quick little setting, how you can do this. I'm just going to highlight this one. I'm going to hold the control key and highlight the other one. And this is the brilliant part about Revit. I can simply just now click on this and go down here and change this to the other floor system. And if you guys notice, both of those floor systems, I'll flip it back. Both of those floor systems with just one click of the button change the thicknesses of the floors, okay? Now, AutoCAD, I would be sitting there stretching, moving lines out of the way, doing a bunch of other modification to make that work. Revit just kind of goes, all right, I got it. It's done, right? So it's that simple to kind of accomplish that. So I've got a couple things happening now. I've already drawn my section of my cube that I'm working with my teammate, okay? Everybody's is going to be different. So what I'm going to tell you, there's a few things that you need to caution yourself on, okay? Number one, all of your perimeter walls must absolutely be the exterior walls, because we drew all those at 6 inches. Once you guys start working on your inside stuff, you're going to use the interior walls. That's with the 4-inch thick wall that you're using to break all of your stuff down, okay? Make sure you pay attention to your floors that you put on. So you're going to put, if you have a lower level, you're going to use that lower level floor that we already created. And between your upper level and your roof and all the other layers that you're the entry level and the upper level, make sure that you use that secondary floor system that we created that was a foot thick. Let me see, what else do I need to talk to you guys about? Obviously, these are going to get slammed together. So if my hallway was going in this orientation, remember I can't put any windows on this side. And in a sense, really, I couldn't put any here either because this is butted up against somebody else's section. So you guys just need to be cautious of where your building is. On mine, this is the only wall I'd be allowed to put windows or doors in. Windows in, no doors. My door must come off of this hallway. So let me just run through real quickly. This is my lower level. So I'm going to add some walls to this. I'm going to come in here, grab my MicroLiving interior wall. And I don't know, I'm just going to kind of do some garbage in here. Okay, I'm going to add a couple doors. I wouldn't use these doors. I would take the time to actually find the doors that I want to use. But for the urgency of the class, I'm going to just put these in like this. And I'm going to I'll show you what I'm doing with this. This is going to be a closet. All right, let me just get this door down here. A couple things to notice. There are some arrows on the doors. So if you flip these arrows, it will actually flip which direction the doors go in. So be cautious of that. You actually want to know how to do that. MD on your keyboard, I can select this and flip this door. Let's get used to this. This is we don't turn doors like this, right? So what I want you guys to envision is that imagine a door only being halfway open. Where would you go if the door was only halfway open? So that's a good way to know which way your swing should go. You definitely would not want to just have this door halfway closed and then walk into this wall. You'd want to flip this door. If this door was halfway closed, you'd walk into the room, right? So there we go. I've got this very, very beautiful, unusable bedroom. I did it small. And then let's just say I'm going to have a staircase somewhere, right? Oh, I come in the architecture. Again, I've already created my stair. Here we go. This is beautiful. I'm going to put it right here. Then one thing that you can do in Revit, which is cool, is I can use my move command. And I can say I want to move this. And just kind of like, oops. I should be able to just move it like that. Come on, Revit. Yes, Grace. A really great question. Depends what floor you're looking at. So the arrow will go the direction that's not touching that floor. So Grace asked, which way does the arrow go up? Or which way does the arrow go? So on the lower level, the bottom step is touching that floor. The arrow is pointing up the steps. If I go to the entry level, where is that the same staircase? Okay, so this one doesn't flip it. I have another program that flips it, so I lied to you. The arrow's pointing up. Okay? You're welcome. So the arrow on the staircase is pointing up. So let me go back here. I don't know why I can't move this, but I'm going to just use my arrows and nudge it. So I'm going to nudge it around, get it where I want it. Oh, another thing that I want to show you guys. That's another thing. I should have said this already. There are a bunch of commands in Revit that exist to help move things around. So like I have this. Oh, that's why, because I hadn't created my stair yet. That's why it wouldn't let me move it. So I'm going to grab this staircase. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to bump it up against this wall, and you'll see that it allows me to move the stair in. That's one. I'm going to move this back out, and come on, just do it. There we go. So I'm going to move it out. Now, another thing I can do, if I need to move something, I can actually use the align tool, which is a really, really strong, it's a really strong tool to use. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm going to click on the align tool, and I want it to align to this wall. So I click that wall, and then I'm going to click the edge of this. It's going to grab it and move it there. Now, here's a really, really important part. See that little lock? It's right in the wrong spot, and I can't zoom in on it. It's just going to get smaller and smaller. There's actually a little padlock that's unlocked right now. If it's unlocked, I have this ability to grab this staircase, and again, I can just move the staircase. It didn't allow me to, it didn't stay. If I grab this align tool and I say here to here, I hit this little lock tool. This is actually really, really important, because now if I grab this staircase and I try to move it, it's going to come up and say, hey, dude, you locked it. You can't move it. It's not going to allow you to lock it. Now, what if I move it this way? I grab it and I drag it. Oh, that caused problems? What did I just do to my house? I actually just dimensionally ruined my house. I'm able to move my staircase. Revit's smart enough to go, yeah, you can move it. You can't move it off the wall. You can move it along the wall, because we didn't lock it anywhere horizontally. But vertically, it knows that wall has to be connected. So if I'm forcing Revit to move the staircase, it's going to move the wall, which causes a big problem, because I literally dimensionally just ruined my project. So why do I tell you that? I tell you that because what you really should do is you should throw some of these measurements on here, okay? And I can throw a 30-foot dimension on there, and then I can lock my dimension, okay? Can you unlock it? Absolutely. I can just simply hit the unlock button, and it will allow me to change it later. However, what's great about this is now if I go to move this staircase, it's just going to mess, it's still going to mess it up. It's just going to mess it up in a completely different way this time, okay? So we just got to be very cautious. And I'm showing you guys this because undoubtedly you guys are going to move something and you're going to mess something up, okay? So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. As I move this now, because I locked this dimensionally, as I move this now, basically the location of this wall here is going to shift. It's going to get really messy. It's going to get really screwy. So I'm going to move this down. Whoop. Should be able to still do this. Hold on. I'm going to get there. And I want to put it there. Look at the size of my room now. It actually got, this room got smaller, right? Much smaller. So it's still going to allow me to mess it up, okay? Have to try a little bit harder to mess it up. Go ahead, Dave. That's correct. If your unit starts at the entry level and you go entry level, upper level, you're not going to do anything on that lower level floor plan. So what do we do to combat this? There, there are some things that we could do to combat this, but I'm going to just simply say, be careful. Okay, don't move things around that you've already locked in other places. If you happen to move something, and what I suggest is you'll know it in 3D really, really quickly if you mess something up. Okay, so what I highly suggest to you guys is as you do various things, you guys didn't even see it. I barely moved that. Did anybody catch me do that? I barely catch me do it, but let's look at this thing in 3D now. Look what happened to my building here. Okay, so it only takes a little click to mess it up. Okay, so I'm kind of telling you guys that just to have you guys be a little more cautious. Okay, because you will. It's okay. Like, it's okay. You guys probably will mess it up at some point. Just make sure that you're paying attention to it in 3D so that you can undo it and make sure that you don't save it in a messed up state. Um, you can come in here and you can start locking other dimensions, and there is a way basically to block a wall from never moving. So we'll talk about that later. I'm not going to concern myself with it right now. Just be cautious of it. You can add dimensions pretty easily. There's multiple ways. You can just use the measure tool, and I can measure between these two, and then I could just put a little lock on that as well. And then that's going to help start constraining it more and more. Okay, so the more dimensions that you lock, the more constrained it'll be. You'll eventually hit a lock on something, and Revit will go, "Hey, dude, like, you're trying to over constrain the drawing. We can't lock that because simply you can't have those two dimensions locked." Okay, and it'll pop up with a warning. It'll just tell you that you can't do it. Actually, in fact, if I try to do a dimension from here to here and then try to lock it, it should tell me, nope, it didn't. Okay, so, it's because it's not from the same point. Okay, well, in any case, this should lock us down pretty good if I did those. Now, horizontally, I could still move things and mess things up. I'm just telling you to be careful as you're going through it. All right, so I'm going to move the staircase over a little bit. And another thing that you guys might end up doing is you might need to see where your floor above it is, right? You might have an instance where you're like, you know what? I really wish I could see what was going on above me. There is a way to do that as well. So just like we said underlayment, we're not going to do an underlayment. We're basically going to say, what do we want to see as the, so this one here is the lower level. So I basically have nothing lower than the lower level. And can I do, let's see, lower level, and I want to show entry level. Whoops, sorry, I need to change this up one more. I'm going to change that to the upper level. So if I do that, I can kind of see where the outline of my upper floor is, if you guys can see that, okay? And so that's going to help me out a little bit because I'm like, you know what? I need to get these steps a little bit more in the other direction. So I'm going to shift these over just a little bit, just to nudge it away from the edge of the wall, because upstairs, I'm going to come down this way, coming downstairs, but I don't want to hit my head on the floor at some point, if that makes sense, okay? And I know, guys, I'm talking like pretty advanced stuff, and I'm probably getting a little bit over some of y'all's heads. Don't stress it too much. What I'm basically showing you is that you can adjust anything, okay? That's the cool thing about Revit, is that you can just literally arrow keys and nudge things around. I normally do this in SketchUp, this project in SketchUp, but SketchUp doesn't run really good for you guys. I also have you guys do the floor plans in AutoCAD normally. AutoCAD doesn't run real good on the virtual machines. Revit's a really once you learn it, it's a really fun program to understand because it is so point and click, and you guys will be able to actually do like cool design work fairly quickly. Um, Two more things that I'm going to show you that's really, really going to help you, and then I'm going to dismiss you guys to start actually developing your cube. I'm going to reopen the breakup rooms to allow you. I'll reopen breakup rooms tomorrow morning just for like 15 minutes to get you guys to make sure, hey, are we solid in our sizes? As long as your group solidifies that, you guys are ready to start, progressing through Revit at that point. So, two more things that I want to show you, and they're basically various views to help me understand my project a little bit better. Okay, I have 3D. This is great, right? Like I can look around this project and I can see my outside of my boxes looking the way that I want it to look. Like that's very, very helpful, right? Also, I can delete this at this point. I don't need that anymore. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull this down. This is a great view. Can't really see much on the inside, so I can hit wireframe. It's probably a little bit better. However, once you start getting furniture, staircases, cabinets, more walls, more doors, more windows, this starts to become a nightmare to look at, to be quite honest with you guys, okay? It just becomes very clustered and you just can't really make out. You won't be able to, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the edge of a window and the edge of the stairs, even though they're two completely different things in different spots. Yes. Yes. Yeah, you guys are like fully doing. So Grace asked if I'm going to want you guys to put furniture in, and yeah, like you guys are fully micro living this project. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, the way that I'm going to grade your project, so you're going to send me your RVT files, your Revit files. That's what I'm going to get you guys to upload. I'm going to tour all of your houses in virtual reality. So at my house, I'm literally going to walk around your houses in virtual reality, which is really, really cool. Yeah, yeah. Grace asked if I'm going to show you guys how to add in more furniture. I will certainly show you guys that, and we'll kind of get to once you guys get the walls or stairs. We're going to work on kitchen cabinetry. Kitchen cabinetry will allow you to. It's the same exact principle to do kitchen cabinets as it is to do a dining room table. So I'll go through that with you guys. I'll punch together a very small, simple kitchen with a countertop, and then I'll let you guys run with that. And then basically you can just literally run with, okay, I know how to do a kitchen cabinet. I know how to do a couch, a dining room table, dishes on the dining room table, right? Like you can literally go that, like you can add plants on the countertops and a set of reading glasses on the nightstand. They can go that you can go that exact. Additionally, you guys may have some like custom furniture you may need. Like you might need a Murphy bed that folds up into the wall, and I can guarantee you're not going to find one of those. So you're also going to have to learn how to model your own component, which is going to be another thing that we're going to do together as a class. Okay, so we're going to get there. I'm going to get you guys through some Revit training. More importantly, it's just to teach you guys how to do this project. I mean, so I will tell you like a difference between this course and I think a lot of your other courses is I won't ever teach you something that I can't give you a practical application for it. So like, I mean, I could sit there and read through a book and go, okay, we need to learn how to do, we need to learn how to do, we need to learn how to do. If we're not applying that skill, you guys aren't learning it in this classroom, to be honest with you. There's just not enough time. Like, you guys all know the diagram theory, right? You guys have all been trained that. We do that outside when we have strings and rope and we're trying to do a staking out a house in the lawn. That's what we typically do. So it's a completely different experience, right? So you'll get that soon enough. All right. So where I was going with this is nice right now because I don't have a whole lot of geometry on here. Once I start adding beds and dressers and kitchens and doors and windows and more closets, this becomes a really clustered view, and you guys are going to struggle because I've got some critical things like that staircase. Am I going to be able to walk down that staircase without bumping my head? And I can almost tell, yeah, I'll probably be okay. I could probably tell that from this view, but we need to be certain of that. So I'm going to go back to my lower level, and this is something that I do want you guys to pay attention to because you will need to do this. Under the View tab, we have a really cool little button called Section. And what I can do with this is I can actually drag a section across here. And this is a cut view, okay? And I can do different things. I can have it look the other way. So that's actually looking towards the wall, and I can do, this is called back clipping, so I can how far it goes. Because I'm outside of the house at this point, it doesn't matter how far I back clip. I do want to look at it this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply come over into my project browser. I've got it called Section 1 right now. So I'm just going to double click on it. And I've got this like really, really clean cross section of my staircase now. So now I can actually come in here and go, okay, what is my dimension between that point? Oh, I clicked the wrong button. So this is a problem that I'm struggling with, to be honest with you. This is a personal problem. I have to wear these to be able to see. And when I wear these and I wear this, these fog up. So I can either not see or not see. So, all right, so I'm going to drag a dimension between here and here, and I'm going to look at that and go 7'6" and 19/30. That sounds pretty darn good to me, right? 7'6". I'm probably not going to bang my head on that. I don't think I got anybody in my class that's taller than 6'10". So I think we should be okay. Code says 6 foot. Code says 6'8" to the finished surfaces. Designer says 6'9", 6'9.5" is where I like to hold it at the absolute minimum. In the designer in me, that's what I say. Reason why is because sometimes you have code inspectors that are really, 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 really like picky. And 6'8" says minimum, and the code inspector comes out there and measures it. And don't forget, I got to put drywall on there. Drywall gets a little metal corner section. If my drywall guy was a little heavy with mud, okay, my client picked a really, really fat padding to put on the steps. If the code inspector doesn't push through the padding hard enough, and he measures 6'8" and 3/4 or 6'7" and 3/4, he's going to ding me for it and tell me that I need to do something about it. Okay, literally that tight. Okay, so give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. I always go 6'9", 6'9.5" as an absolute minimum. I like to maintain 7 foot personally. 7'6" and 9/30. This is like a nil issue completely. I wouldn't even concern myself. It's over 7 foot. I'm good to go. So I can highlight this dimension and delete it. I don't really need it. I just created this cross section literally to help me understand what was going on in that section. And you're going to see here, I'm going to actually go to my floor plan. I'm actually cutting through my staircase. Like, so literally I'm cutting through the middle of my staircase and looking at it. And if I come back to this section, I go, wait a minute. I got floor going through my cross section. What did I forget to do? I forgot to cut the hole for the staircase, and this view gave me that. I may not have noticed it here, because guess what? There's so much garbage going on here, I really couldn't tell. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply come back to this, edit my profile for my steps, come up to my entry level, and I'm going to cut out my hole for my staircase, and I'm going to do it from right here, and I'm going to drag it all the way over to the edge, and I'm just going to hit apply and attach the walls, and let's look at it in 3D. Doesn't look a whole lot different, does it, guys? Right? So even though this is a good view, but looks a heck of a lot different here, right? I don't have you can tell I don't have a solid member cutting right through the middle of my staircase. So cross-section views are going to be one of those views that become really, really important. They're just imperative to what we do, because we really start to understand what our buildings look like structurally when we can do these cross sections. So I've got this, and so one of the things that I want to show you about cross sections are they're brilliant, because I can just take this cross section and I can just move it. And so let's just say I move it down here. So what should I be cutting through at this point? Well, I should be cutting through my floor. I should be able to see my staircase in the background. It's essentially going to look like the last one. Okay, but you can see something different here. I can't see every step because I'm looking at the side of the staircase. Okay, so even though I'm showing you some pretty complex stuff, these are things that you're going to just quickly need to understand, and you'll learn what cross sections are. I can actually flip this thing, look the other direction. I could, in fact, rotate this thing. I don't need to at this point, but I could. I'm going to look at it this way. Oh, look, I'm looking at a door. Where's that door? So I look back at my lower level. It's over here, right? So I can really start to understand. Now, here's another thing that this cross section is going to be important for. Say I wanted to hang a mirror on this wall, right? In my decorating phase of this drawing or of this model, I want to hang a mirror on that wall. Well, I could come here and try to put a mirror on the wall and hope that I get it in the right spot, which I may or may not get it in the right spot, but I could hope that I get it in the right spot. Or I could simply go to this cross section. I know that what I'm looking at here is the wall. So if I clicked on it and drew a wall on here, it would actually put it right where I want it to be. Okay. So you'll find that you're going to use cross sections for multiple things. That's number one. And then the other one I already showed you guys, but I'll just repeat this again. You can do cameras. So you can actually take like 3D camera views, and that's underneath of your 3D view. It's a camera, and I showed you that you guys could change heights and things like that. So I do know I already showed you this. This will save as a camera view. So you can actually name these things whatever you want to name them, and they'll be saved views. So you might have a view of your kitchen, of your bedroom, of your whatever they are, right? So you can name these views, and naming them, you can quickly go back to it because you'll start to, as you're designing your projects, you'll start to go, I don't like the way it looks. And if you guys can just remember to add the words from here when you say that, okay? I don't like how this looks from here. Because as you guys know, there's certain spots in your houses, right? And you know what? I'm even going to go this way. Certain spots about you that you don't like, right? Because I think, like we all have that good side, right? We all take the selfie from the same direction, right? You never do it from the, like, that looks weird. You guys know what I'm talking about? So as we go through and we start like designing, you're going to constantly have this, like, I don't like the way it looks from here. So as long as you can get that view where you want it, probably doesn't matter, right? In a lot of cases, if it doesn't look good from the back corner of the kitchen looking towards the front door, maybe that's not an important view anyways, right? You want, when people walk in your front door, you want that view to look good. Because if you say, hey, look, as soon as people walk in the front door, I don't like the way it looks, then you need to redesign it, change it up, and make it look a little bit better, right? If whatever other view might not be as important. So you can start to save these views and kind of critique your own work from that point of view, and then you'll make it better and better. So in-house guys, that was it for today. You guys are free to go. I will see you tomorrow. You guys here, stick with me for a few more minutes. We'll just chat it up, and I'll keep recording this, and it'll be up on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I'm not going to do anything new from this point forward. Yeah. All right, so Dave's got a silly question. I got to repeat it because I can't hear you. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I'm okay with that. So Dave's asking about doing like a Japanese style bed where the mattress is on the floor. He's asking if it's okay that if he just provides like a cabinet where it would live as opposed to actually having the piece of furniture called the bed. The answer is yes. Yep. All right, guys. You all have a beautiful day. Enjoy the weather. Bye, guys. Enjoy the weather. It's going to be nice. All right. So, in-house or virtual guys. So, we are good to go. See you. Have a great one. So we're going to keep looking at just a few little things, not much. You guys are going to be able to take these things later on and basically, let me pull up a real quick little video in the background here. I want to be able to show you guys this. Professional equipment. All right, so let's see. Here we go. YouTube. We are going to do. Hang on a second. What's it called?
I'm Stefan Mordew. I'm an architect, construction project manager, author, and information management.
What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect
guys,
here,
so
and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create a section in Revit. So this will be kind of a beginner
tutorials. But if you guys look at this, this is a very graphical cross section. So it's a little more presentation style. It's AKA it's pretty, if that makes sense, right? He's got shadows on here. He's got like all these cuts shown as like structure is all like this heavy black. And as he kind of progresses through this, he shows you how to come along into this project and essentially create settings for this cross section to make it look like this. In fact, he has one that I actually like a little bit better. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There we go. It's this one. Detail. Is that one it? This one. All right. So
style level, especially when it comes to presenting things for.
There we go.
Right click and then override graphics and view by element, and I like to just turn them to half-tone, like a half-tone, the floor, the main floor.
All right, so as soon as you guys see this, he's kind of got like these trees in the background. He's showing like the shadow coming in. Again, darkened up the structure. This becomes a really nice looking cross section. And so if you look at mine compared to his really nice looking, see it, Dave. It's really nice looking cross section. They're completely different, and obviously his blows mine out of the water. However, it doesn't take long to get this to look as good as this, and so we're actually going to go through this and learn how to jazz up this. And once you have furniture and things like that, you'll see that this becomes actually really kind of neat. Where is it here? Bear with me for 1 second here. All right. You guys can see here, I just darkened up my walls. You guys will figure out. I'll share with you how to do this later. But basically, we come through here and we just do some overrides of some fills, and we can quickly turn this kind of seemingly plain looking roofs into really nice looking cross sections. It doesn't. Oh, I did roof and not floors. That's my bad. Hold on. Again, not expecting you guys to know this at this point, but you can see here I start to dress this thing up. It doesn't, and it really doesn't take. It really doesn't take much time at all to go through this, and we would go through here and add we would add the shadows, and we would add a bunch of other things into this, and it would really start to make this thing look really nice. So in any case, that's kind of where we are heading. And we'll punch through, obviously floor plans. Once we're done this, we're going to add labels and room sizes and things like that to this. Again, a lot of that's automated through Revit. I'll teach you on all the little steps of that. And then ultimately we will get this thing onto display boards, and we will get this printed out, and we should be in good shape. So I'm going to stop the recording at this